All right. Good to see some responses coming in. Let me just quickly read them out. Okay. First one from Mr. Vishu to see how to be aware about today's cybersecurity issues and how to overcome them. Okay. I'm sure that will be covered, Mr. Vishu. Mr. Jagdish, more on AI and ML, how to utilize them. Okay. Mr. Amit says, how is AI changing cybersecurity posture of enterprises? Okay. So Shyama, use business case studies and practical examples. We'll definitely see if we can cover that, Mr. Shyama. So Shivakumar, how to prepare our users as foolproof to avoid the attack. Okay, interesting. I like the responses and the engagement that we have already that's going on even before we started the webinar. Request all of you to try and keep the engagement going as we go forward. Audience, we will start in about 2 minutes. All right, audience. Thank you all for your patience. Let's get started. Once again, a very good evening to everyone present here. So, as I just introduced myself, what I'm going to do is I will run you through a few slides regarding the company that I represent to give you a background and set the stage, followed by which I will introduce the speaker and hand it over to him. Audience, I hope all of you are able to see the screen. Quick yes or no on chat. Okay, great. All right. Now, a quick description about the journey of our company. We were, in fact, part of Wipro's domestic IT business back in the days. So, if you remember your dot matrix printers that were really famous back in those days, we were the primary manufacturers of that. We also had a setup that was put up. And while this was happening around 2000, the company decided to come out of Wipro as a separate entity, and we were known by the name of Web Solutions, also Wipro e-Peripherals as the abbreviation. Now, over the years, while we still carried our managed printing services model, uh, with changing market trends and industry evolutions, the company decided to bring in the digital workplace services portfolio, which is what we did in 2017. And moving on, somewhere around 2019, we also introduced Rico as a partner. And with the COVID and the pandemic situation, there were multiple business units that combined into one, which was still under the name of Web Solutions. Now, moving forward, fast forward 2023, I'd like to quickly mention a highlight in our transformation journey. We underwent a complete rebranding, and we are known by the name of WebSol, as you can see on the screen. And we come with a completely different approach, again, in relation to market trends. And our vision is to simply transform workplaces to elevate work. Now, let me further explain as we go forward to give you an idea of how our suite of services also work with the same rebranding itself. Quick highlights about the organization. We come with over 24 years of industry expertise. We also cater to over 570 enterprise customers. We're present in 2,500 locations across the country, and we also won the Company of the Year award for 2022 by CAO Tech Outlook Review for our workflow automation solution. You can also see a quick glance of some of our major customers. All right, so moving forward, now, as I was explaining regarding the rebranding, we also have a completely redefined workplace suite, which goes by the name of FluidWorks, where we offer tailored and scalable solutions. for your digital workplace experience. Now, let me also explain each of the following that you can see on the screen. We have a gamut of offerings under FluidWorks, which is the workplace suite. Moving forward, starting off with Fluid Pro, which is our managed IT services offering. Fluid Pro modernizes your IT infrastructure, creating a digital workplace that empowers employees, customers, and partners with top tier IT tools and services, which thereby ensures enhancing digital employee experience. Now, under this, we have an array of offerings. We cater to various needs. We offer managed SOC, managed NOC, RIM, that is remote infrastructure management, IT infra, which is taken care end to end, and finally, we also take care of IT asset management. So that is on the Fluid Pro end. Now, Fluid Print, as the name suggests, this is our signature managed print services offering. What we essentially do here is we offer printers on a CapEx or OpEx model based on your requirement. Assume that you have about 300 to 400 printers sprawled across your organization in different locations. You will not necessarily need to purchase a printer, right? That would involve a lot of costs. So you would simply have to rent printers from our end. We will take care of the entire end-to-end implementation and execution. And you might ask me, okay, how is it that we are charged? We will simply charge you on a pay per print model. Based on the number of printer papers you print, we will charge you on that. It could be a monthly, it could be a quarterly, or it could be an annual timely subscription. So that's what Fluid Print is. And we are also number one in India on this part. Moving to Fluid Map. Now, I have explained IT assets and I've also explained printers, correct? How do you manage this from an eagle eyes point of view? So this is what Fluid Map takes care of. This is our state-of-the-art IT asset management service. Basically, we give you a remote solution which gives you an entire view of your IT assets and printers. What is the status of it, be it uptime, downtime. It could also mean your toner cartridge levels. All of that can be monitored. And we have Fluid Trail, which is our process automation solution. Uh, Basically, this is also a document repository solution which can be hosted on cloud or on-prem. Now, we also have ready to go use cases for various departments. Your HR department, your procurement department, your procure to pay process can be fully automated end to end. We also have ready to go automation for candidate offboarding, onboarding, leave management, and other HRMS related things. And finally, we have a managed GSC solution as well, which is your one-stop solution for filing reconciliation, ERP integration, and so on. We also have presence on the retail end. We cater to a large number of retail customers as well, but more on that sometime later. All right. So we might not obviously have a lot of time for a demo as such, but I'd like to quickly launch a poll for all of you. I hope you're able to see this on your screen. Just give me one moment. Yes, audience, I hope you're able to see this. Uh, Please attend the poll and let me know if you are exploring any sort of managed IT services at the moment. Our team will reach out to you based on your requirement. And please note that we are not obviously charging for this. I will leave this poll on for the next 1 minute. Again, audience, as I was mentioning, we cater to a wide array of services. Each organization might have a different requirement. So be it managed SOC or remote infra or simply IT infrastructure, we will be able to understand your requirement, your prerequisites, and then we will take it forward. Okay, I think I will end the poll. Thank you all for your inputs. All right. Now, I'm sure all of you are already waiting to hear from the speaker while he's still backstage. I will request all of you to give me another 2 or 3 minutes while I quickly set the stage for him. Now, as you can see, this is our webinar agenda. I'm sure some of you have already seen it on your mailer invite. I'd like to quickly recap this and what we will be talking about today. Now, on the cybersecurity trends. There'll be a quick glance into the industry trends and of the proactive threat management. We'll find out how IT management and cybersecurity risk management can help mitigate attacks before they can even cause significant harm. And I did see a bunch of them had asked questions regarding AI and ML. We'll find out how it can be effectively used to enhance your cybersecurity defenses. Now, before I actually go ahead and talk to you about these stats, I'd like to launch a poll. All right. I hope you're able to see this. Now, you might also ask me, what is this proactive, in fact, reactive to proactive approach, what it might be. More on that in the next slide. Now, I hope you're able to see this on your screen. I'd request all of you to read through it and let us know what you think is the advantage of a proactive approach to cybersecurity. Please note that this is a multiple choice question, so you can select more than one. It's not just one, you can select two or three as well. Okay. Can we have a few more responses? Not bad. It's picking up. I think it's great to see that we have a highly engaging audience today. Uh, let's keep this going, guys. Okay, okay. Now, audience, I just want to mention that the speaker is definitely looking at this poll screen as well. So we will have some comments on this as we move forward. As I can see, the biggest advantage of a proactive approach, which is voted by most of you guys, is early detection of threats, which is hands down, no doubt about it, followed by minimizing damage and downtime. Okay, I think these are great. If required, I will pull this up later. Let's move forward. Now, more on this. I hope all of you are able to see this on your screen. Now, these are clearly some of the pointers which denote why you should move from a reactive to proactive approach. Let me quickly give you some explanation to this. As you can see, what exactly is prevent incidents? It could simply mean preventing IT hacks. You could stop IT hacks, firewall breaches before they can actually happen and cause significant harm. This would be the primary solution, in fact, as some of you had selected in the previous slide. Enhanced visibility and security, no doubt about that. We also can monitor anomalies. Now, what exactly is this? We can track patterns and detect authentication failures very quickly. Moving to the next point, mitigate vulnerabilities. You can proactively address and close existing security gaps. And implementing the right measures is also the next immediate step, which you can take care if you have a proactive approach. Now, I think employee training is something that is being taken care by most organizations, but there are times when there is some sort of gap which is not taken care of. I think this is something that has to be implemented in all organizations. We regularly train employees and conduct dummy phishing tests and attacks. That is something that can be done. And adoption of latest tech. Now, we cannot expect our existing workforce to always be up to the date and stay ahead of the solutions that are in the industry, right? So you would probably want a solution that can actually take care of be up to date. More on this. And finally, compliance. I think it's very important for every organizations to stay 100% compliant and stay adhered to the industry standards. So these are some things that are covered. I'm glad to see that the responses in the previous poll were very much aligned to this. So let's move forward. All right, I think it's high time that I introduce the speaker, Mr. Chandrasekhar Pandey. A quick introduction about him. Mr. Chandrasekhar Pandey is a renowned cybersecurity and data center architecture expert with over 2 decades of experience. As the founder and CEO of Sekion Inc., Chandra leads the charge in developing innovative technology solutions to tackle today's complex cybersecurity challenges. Before founding Sekion in 2014, he served various leadership and technical roles. Quickly, I will explain that as well. He served as the general manager and VP of platform solutions at BTI Systems. Chandra's extensive background includes senior leadership roles at Juniper Networks, Sienna, Lucent, and 3Com, which is now HP. At Juniper, he led global solutions architecture and engineering teams, delivering integrated security solutions and driving billions in revenue. Chandra holds multiple patents in application virtualization, scalable data center architecture, multicast distribution, and power optimization for high performance computers. With 24 plus years in the tech and cybersecurity industry, Chandra's expertise and leadership continue to inspire and empower teams to defend corporate assets in today's highly connected enterprises. I take great pleasure in introducing him on our first ever webinar on the managed IT services end. I'm sure the audience is looking forward to directly hearing from you, sir. And audience, before I hand it over to him, on a lighter note, Mr. Chandrasekhar Pandey is celebrating his birthday today. And what a way to start off his birthday today. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Siddharth. Thanks a lot. Whatever Siddharth said, you guys don't have to believe it. It's like I'm just like a simple person, like many of us in the industry, and have been doing whatever needed to make sure that we empower many of the organization to prosper in the world. So all these connected words, we have to keep on driving the innovations. So, do you want to go to the next slide?
Yes, I will move to the next slide.
Yeah. Okay. So, this is some of the Sekian develops a platform so that delivers some of the services, but this meeting is not about Sekian. What we are going to do is we are going to talk about what is happening in the industry from the cybersecurity point of view. So some of the things, this is nothing we are coming up with. This is pretty much known to the industry, that what is happening, that your perimeters are like pretty much have died because of the COVID. Before COVID, it was dying because a lot of workforce was working from the remote and traveling and all that in there. But the COVID accelerated the death of the perimeters, and that's where basically you hear these days people will talk about that. Hey, now you have this GTNA, zero trust. So that's what basically is like came into the picture. So the next thing is basically, if you look, you don't have enough of the cybersecurity expertise, amount of the attacks and amount of the peoples who are working in that part of the industry which want to compromise you and take advantage of you and all that, your organization, and ask for ransomware and sell your informations and all that. That industry is very well resourced and people are highly motivated. So you don't have enough of the people on the cybersecurity expertise side to tackle those. There is a growth of the compliance always just keep on growing, because each and every industry as well as the governments, they are coming up with their own compliance requirement. Every country wants to keep their data local as well as help the organization. Because one thing I do want to mention, that look, regulation and the compliance and all that is not to kind of put a big stake on an organization and bring them down. That whole thing is to hey, put certain standards so that way the organization is taking care of the fundamental kind of telemetries and what they are supposed to do with it. So that way they don't get into the troubles. And if something happen, there are evidence to kind of make sure that it's not their fault. So it's always important to meet the compliance requirement. And remember that any government or authority which is kind of enforcing it, they don't have a bad intention, because if they had the bad intention, what will happen is if there are not a organization or it's too costly to meet the compliance requirement, there will not be industry. And if there is no industry, no employment, no politician will get elected. So you guys know that it's compliance is there to help, not to hurt anybody there. And security as a service, this is another trend that if you look into even the largest of the largest organization, now they are using security as a service, because they know if they try to do themselves, they cannot first, even if they have a budget, they cannot go and hire all the people. And your budget is always kind of like, going to be segmented out. So it's a better you kind of have the people who just do that work and they do efficiently, rely on them because they are also learning from the bigger set of the data and they are more efficient than anybody you can have working in your environment. So this trend is all across the globe. The security as a service is growing at the fastest pace, means like even if you look into the last 3 4 years, it has been growing more than CAGR has been more than 35% year over year. So that's a phenomenal growth. Other thing on the left side, if you look into sophistication of the cyber attackers, is just growing significantly. There was a lot of questions about ML and AI and all that in there. They have kind of like perfected those, and they know that there are payer for those. So ransomware is a kind of like a service has been being offered there. You can have like access as a service. So they kind of get the access into organization and offering that as a service, and then have the second set of the people come and do whatever they want to do. So it's a good size industry with the $3+ trillion like GDP on that industry side is like being run by these cyber criminals over there. There are definitely, because all these attacks has also created that number of the tools that you can be in an organization. If you just keep on chasing every tool, you can have 200 plus cybersecurity tools doing small things in there. And if you keep on getting all those tools, you are not going to be like able to have as many people as to kind of look at it and take actions as well. So that's another challenge you have. And just to give you an idea, it's like we had a big incident last week with a cybersecurity company doing the update, and that update itself caused a big service disruption across the globe on the critical infrastructure. And one thing I will say, just like I will not go into more details, not everything honestly being told right now. There is a lot of things are being communicated in the cryptic way. So, but there is a lot more to that than what you hear in the media or what the like the data is being shared. So you will come to know, but you will see then what will happen is you next set of the tools will get announced that hey, how to avoid that kind of like incident and all that in there. So there will be tool to monitor those things and stop it as well. So that is coming as well in there. And then growing number of devices and environments to protect. So because you see more digitalization, people have more devices out there, and more digitalization will drive number of devices which are interconnected on whether your intranet or internet is interconnected bodies keep on growing. So cybersecurity is definitely something people should like pay a lot of attention to. But once again, I do want to point out there are learning lessons from the incident which was seen last week, and then it probably you can see something in the past as well. That what you want to do is you want to make sure any of the tool you are deploying and all that in there has a proper set of like segmentations and proper set of like settings, so that it does not kind of like uh, take actions like what was done in the last week case, that where you can bring your infrastructure down and get into deep situations where a lot of like loss to business as well as business continuity, as well as it's like some life at the risk as well. So it's billions and billions of dollars of productivity, as well as it's like the economic values was lost. And you want to kind of ask some of the questions that, hey, what this does, and how we are going to kind of like not have the situation like that. So those are important things to keep in mind as well. Next slide.
Yeah. So before you go to the next slide, I like to launch a quick poll if that's okay with you.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So audience, I hope you're able to see this tab on your screen. Which type of cybersecurity threat do you believe poses the greatest risk to your organization? Again, I think this is a multiple choice question, so feel free to select more than one option. All right. Audience, I'd like to see 10 responses. I think that's a good. Can we have 10 responses? We have about 4, 6. Okay. 8. Okay. We've crossed the 10 mark. Not bad. Wonderful. So external hackers, third-party vendor vulnerabilities, and insider threats. Okay. So human error, I think we can definitely not neglect that, it is still a consideration. Uh, Chandra sir, any comments on this? I hope you're able to see this on your screen.
Yeah, means I can see it, and I agree that what the team, like what the poll is pointing out, that if you look into the hacking is an industry altogether. So there is a, you should always kind of like make sure that you have covered for that one in there. Then insider, like threat, as well as third party vulnerabilities and the human errors. These are the other kind of vectors you always have to watch for. And sometimes the insider threat may not be just the insider, but it might be somebody credential is being compromised. And that is kind of now being used as an insider as well. Because if you look into most of these ransomware attack, they start with that, so somebody's credential get compromised, whether they compromise with like, getting some data which is already leaked, or collecting your credential for Office 365, because Office 365 is definitely little easier to breach by just stealing the session, and people always keep on kind of coming up with the idea how to steal the like your credential, even if you have multi-factor authentications enabled and all that. So this kind of gels pretty well based on what we are seeing out there. And one
Right, sir.
thing I do wanted to share that, look, since we have been in industry for some period of time, we also have in our kind of platform more than 800 billion events we analyze every day. So we also see what are the trends are coming down the line from the attacker point of view. What are those threat vectors which are kind of like accelerating and all that. So anywhere from like a few days to almost 3 weeks to a month in advance, we will come to know what are the threats are, what kind of attacks vectors are coming down the line. And that also kind of like helps you to make sure that you have taken some actions to just like kill those in the early stages as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I'll move to the next slide.
Yeah, so see, one thing I would like to point out, if you look into in the cybersecurity domain team, people can talk about thousands of products and all that. And if you look into the big picture, you extract yourself up and you look at from the top. There's only two domain you should look into it. That there is a cyber hygiene domain, and hygiene domain is just like you have a like a house. In the house, you have to make sure that you have a good wall, and then you have your door, locks, windows, and you are keeping those secured. So that's what it comes down to. The hygiene side in your organization also have their gateways. Those gateways can be firewall, your web gateway, email gateway, identity system, your web proxy, your like some cases like antivirus and all that in there. And now the thing is, those products works on the set of the rules, signatures, and policies. They are essential for any organization, but you should also assume things will get through them or get around them, because You have not seen everything. There will be new things will come in there, and then there will be things which will be stolen, and then people will go around that because, as we had already discussed, your perimeters are like, now pretty much diffuse, so things can get around those gateways as well in there, because somebody might have a laptop working at home and then they come into the office. Now they are inside. You see my point? So they might get compromised at home and then they come inside. Now they are insiders. Credentials they have and which can be used to do launch the attack and all that. So hygienes are important. If you are starting your cybersecurity journey, definitely have the hygienes. The next thing comes into that what you have to do is continuous real-time monitoring of all the telemetry which are coming from your hygiene plus everything else which is happening in your organization. And today's organization does not just kind of live into on-prem and data center. A lot of them, most of them, if you look, they are using some SaaS services. They are using cloud to host their application services. So they have cloud as an infrastructure. Sometimes they use cloud as a platform. So you have to watch your cloud, SaaS, PaaS infrastructure, whatever you are using from there, your on-prem assets, your partner access. There was a very good kind of like point out that, hey, you have to look into the partners kind of vulnerability point of view, because those partners accesses and a partner is have been compromised and they have access to your organization. Now things can kind of get compromised at your place as well. And one thing I do want to share that hackers are highly interested in doing that, because that way, if somebody works with a lot of partner, if they get into that organization, break into that organization, they will be easily able to break it into hundreds and sometimes thousands of organizations if the not proper control is like put by the company they are serving as well. So just keep that in mind. There was a very good answer in the beginning. I saw some people were asking what they want to hear. Your remote workforce, you want to kind of monitor themselves as well, what is going on around their organization, their kind of like, assets they are using and what they are up to themselves, your mobile. At the end, you want to take all the telemetry from your hygiene, everything happening related with your organizations, and put it all together to see comprehensive visibility, that you should be able to see everything, proactively detect the threats. You don't want to detect the threat when somebody has already started encrypting your file, because that is too late in the game, because now breach has already happened, your data is gone, you are going to get a ransomware demand even if you don't let them encrypt everything. Still your data is out and your data will be sold, or you have to go and pay the money to get your data back. And then once you compromise, they will keep on coming because they have access at your place, they will keep on coming there. So you have to be proactive, not to once the compromise has happened. And then automated real-time containment and elimination. See, one of the things is, if you have those 200 different products in there instead of having a platform, what end up happening is now you are dealing with a lot of noises at the different place. Now you need somebody to make sense out of all of those to take actions, and that thing can take multiple hours, sometimes days, and that's too late, because 2 days you have a fat pipe going out of your organization. If somebody has already start collecting or collected the data, by the time you take hour, 2 hours, or like a day to kind of come up with the conclusion what action I have to take, your data is already out. So even that kind of work which was done is not of the much of the value. You just know that it had happened. And definitely continuous compliance. Somebody had definitely asked that, hey, continuous compliance, your security analytics policy management, you can see what the policies are. If some policies are not in place, you want to put it in there. Any violation, you want to kind of take actions on those. And, threat hunting, forensics. You want to always see that, hey, how to improve your cybersecurity posture, because at the end, you want to have a closed loop with your hygiene. It's not only great about detecting it, but also taking actions and making sure you are always able to improve your cybersecurity posture, because that keep on improving your cybersecurity posture continuously. That is the most important part of any cybersecurity solution should be there. Okay. Thanks, Siddharth. Next. This just shows a high level. I will just cover that. If you wanted to do cybersecurity using a proper set of the platform, it then have to be just like our platform, any platform. What you want to do is you want to look for that you do not want to have a 30 different product in there. You want to have a one platform which is taking all of your raw telemetry and putting into a common context and situational awareness. And what does it do it? If I'm watching all of my network behavior, I'm looking into user behavior, entity behavior, I'm looking into like thousands of assets and their telemetry, whether application level, user level, process level, your host level, all of those telemetry if have been brought in there. What you want to do is you want to kind of enrich that, where somebody is coming, which device they are coming on, does they come from those places, and all that in there. That if that place is some blacklisted location. Just to give you an idea, yesterday we saw a big kind of one of our partner onboarded a customer. This is a big customer. They are kind of like they were in Microsoft Sentinel product. They use a lot of Microsoft services. They spend 135 million with the Microsoft. And the key thing was is like as soon as that customer, so now they were not happy with the Microsoft Sentinel. So this customer was like, hey, we want to check out Sekian product, and they came to our partner. So it was onboarded. As soon as we onboarded, there's like few million, like 3 million telemetry comes in, and we see that they have 4 compromised credential. And when we look at them, and then basically it's like we are saying that, hey, these 4 peoples are coming from a location which is 100% backlisted with all the bots kind of like in that country were being launched from there. So we said, okay. And then credential they were using, there were VPN credential they were using. We asked the partner first, we called and say, hey, what is this? And they look at it and say, it's interesting. They go back and they find out that those were some bad actors have been coming from that location, and they have been coming for a while, so those kind of things you don't want to be kind of left over there, not recognizing. So those enrichment, looking everything. If somebody was not looking into just, hey, I looked into your login and password and MFA, that is good enough. No, no, no. That can be stolen credential. Okay. Where are you coming? When you are coming? Where are you going? All of these things is also important in there, because just somebody stole some credential, that does not mean they should have a free ride in your organizations and all that. So those 4 actors were caught, and they took actions on those. And that was happened within a hour of onboarding that customer. So that is kind of the things you want to kind of look into the common context, situational awareness across all your telemetry. Your identity compromise should not be just like a standalone solution. Similarly, your lateral movement, and that should not be standalone solution. Okay. And I'll show you guys something in the later on as well. But what I want to mention is, look, when you want to solve the problem, because the way the company we started that, hey, cybersecurity, a lot of people will say, oh, you guys are trying to do 8 company in one and all that. But the important part is If you don't do that, we will just keep on making the noise. You can tell somebody, oh, I alerted, but I alerted, what happened after that? They took 2, 3 days to even decide what to do. That's like useless. So that's not something you want to do. And that's why if you see in the solution, there is something called dynamic threat model, which is looking for what is no. There's certain things you don't need machine learning and AI to tell you it's a bad stuff. If somebody is doing your scanning, have your RDP and it's like open to the public domain, you have your telnet open to the public domain, you have SMB port open to it. That's not something that's acceptable. So you are going to have somebody is doing tons of login failure, and other mostly they don't do any login failure. You want to not wait for 5 login failure. You want to see even 2 login failure is a dangerous thing for that kind of organization. And that's why it's a dynamic, not just on the set of the rule, say a static rules and all that. Because if you put a static rule, people go around them. AI is looking for, sparse noise reductions with the background shift, and the actionable part engine is basically what is looking into your context and situational awareness across what is machine learning is giving from the behavioral point of view. Dynamic threat model is giving what is no. AI is giving from the shift. If the background shifts are happening, it pulls all these 3 results together, what is happening right now in this context, what has happened in the past and what is happening around the globe with the threat intelligence. All of those things combined together, if alert comes out, a policy gets generated to take a action, and that policy can be quarantine some user, maybe kill a file, kill a process, quarantine a file, or it might be is like, hey, apply a policy in the firewall because somebody is trying to get into your organization, or somebody has already compromised your organization, they are inside your organization. Now go ahead and not let anybody communicate to their command and control center, and so on and so forth. If no alert comes out, then whatever all these things were generated, it get into put into the memory for the future use. Advanced real-time engine, this is basically saying the human understandable format that, hey, what has happened behind the scene, and what are the things you want to see in the future, and what are the things you are accepting as a risk. So those things you are able to do, so that way you can keep on even saying what you are really important for your organization. And security analytics makes all your compliance, your threat hunting, your forensic at your fingertip. At the end, your goal is to get your 360-degree visibility, proactive detections, and then not let the threat linger on your organization. That's what you want to do. So it's pretty much is like in the nutshell, any solution you want to see, you want to make sure you have these capabilities brought in together in the single place. You don't want to kind of looking into 20 different places to secure your organization. Siddharth, next one. Yeah, so if you have a platform, I will not spend a lot of time on this one. If you have a platform, definitely you want to bring all of your raw telemetry as well as any existing infrastructures, security tools you have in place, bring all those telemetry together. And then you don't have to buy all these different 20 different product out there. You don't have to go and buy like, oh, I will buy SIEM and then I'll get database security separately, container, forensic analysis, SOAR you buy, and your cloud security, SaaS security, threat intelligence, OT, IoT, IOMT devices if you have. Similarly, your scorecard, you should be able to get all of these things through the single platform. And then you want to have a real platform, not a cosmetic platform, because you see a lot of time you will hear these days a company will kind of go and buy 20 different products and say, oh, we have done API based integration and we got a platform. The problem with that one is you can like have a lot of experience in the industry, that those products, they have their own context and situational awareness. Some are looking for alerting you based on their context of 3-minute data. Some of them are looking into just like what happened real time on that data. Some are looking into what has happened in 1 week, and some is looking into what has happened in 1 month. Most of them are looking into 1 day to 180 seconds. That's what they're looking at it. Now, when you go in and say, oh, I do the API-based integration, I have created a platform. And if you see most of the companies, big companies, they're saying now it's a cybersecurity is all about platform. And then we have done the platform. It's a cosmetic API integration, and your solution is as good as common minimum denominator in that. So if one of them is giving you like a 180-second window, then you are just kind of as good as a 180-second window. So you just want to kind of keep that in mind. So not everybody talking the platform is the same platform. You want to have a raw telemetry and able to pull it all together in the common context. And context should be as long as the platform has been in your environment. And that can be 1 year, 2 years, 3 months, 3 weeks. And then it will just keep on building upon it, because you may start today, year down the line, you should be able to look into what has happened today. And if that one was relevant with what is happening at 1 year down the line. So that's something you should be able to combine together. And that is what the platform is. Just doing the cosmetic API integration is not a platform. Go ahead, Siddharth, and the next one.
Yeah. So we're going to launch a quick poll, sir. So
Yeah,
I
go ahead. Yeah.
will
Go
give
ahead. Yeah.
you a short break over here. So
So,
my
and chance to be data scientist and rated.
Okay, sorry about that. So my colleague Pawan will drop a quick link on the chat for all of you. I hope you're able to see it. I request all of you to click on this link. This will redirect you to our company LinkedIn handle by the name WebSol. We have a live poll running there. I request all of you to enter your input and we can come back to the presentation. Let me just check the poll and I'll just read out the question for the rest of you here. Which of the following is the most significant benefit of leveraging AI and ML in cybersecurity? Let me read out the options. Enhanced threat detection, faster response times or accuracy, reduced human intervention, and enhanced predictive capabilities. Let me see if we have some updated numbers. Okay, all right. Okay, I think the numbers are going up a little. So audience, I request all of you to enter your inputs and come back. And on a side note, those of you who'd like to see more of IT related content, be it cybersecurity or any existing trends, feel free to follow our page. You will see a lot more content in the coming days. Right, though I think the votes are going up there. Those of you are done with can come back to the presentation. Yeah, over to you, sir. I have moved to the next slide.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like one of the things I do wanted to point out, and this is something for any organization to, not everyone will have a greenfield opportunity. For if you wanted to, like, let's say, look into any solutions and all that, you always want to look into is like, hey, where some of the things you might have already invested and all that. So if you already have done investment into, like, let's say you got your XDR solution or EDR solution or antivirus and all that, EPP is mostly antivirus. Then you want to look into that, hey, how I kind of enhance my opportunities with bringing a platform. You always have a platform capability. So you can, in that case, go with the AI, same kind of a situation. Similarly, somebody already have a SIM, but they are not very happy with that, or is not getting the enough of coverage from your network telemetry and and all that. So you can always kind of get the platform with the NDR capability. And then anytime you want to meet the compliance requirement, it's really critical that you have a platform which does your all the digital compliance kind of covering from the platform directly. And one of the biggest thing we have done into the Sakyan platform is like we give you where you can go in any compliance. You might have today one compliance, tomorrow you might have some other compliance come in. Either you can build it yourself within a minute or 5 minutes, or you can ask our team to build it in there. And we also have put the now workflow which are going to be released where you are even the where it's not about the digital, about the people, processes, your organizational policies and all that. You are able to get those ones and also monitor and approval, and then you can update those ones as well. So there is a workflow being integrated in there. And it's really important, as I mentioned earlier, that to meet the compliance, so that way you are not in some sort of the penalty boxes and all that. And risk management, external as well as internal, is a really critical that any organization you do really want to monitor your risk. So if you have something like this, you pretty much have been covered through the security. And security is something is a journey. This is not a destination. So you always have to keep on, it's like finding whether you're anywhere you are working with, anybody providing you tool or services, are they driving the innovation or not? If they are not driving the innovation, same thing like year after year, it's not going to be a good because that industry is very dynamic industry. One thing I'll say that, one tool might be very good tool today. That tool may not be that relevant like down the line. So you have to bring the innovation each and every kind of like, if not day, each and every month and quarter, there has to be innovation to make sure you are staying ahead of the threat actors. Go ahead, Siddharth, the next one. Siddharth, you want to go to the next slide?
Yeah, I've moved. Do you want me to run through the next
Yeah,
two
yeah.
slides as
No,
well?
that's good. That's good.
Okay.
No, I'm good. Yeah, so if you look into from the threat coverage point of view, definitely these are some of the second kind of like, coverage. It's a extensive set of coverage you get, whether you get into, if you go into the previous slide, Siddharth, I just want to point out because some of
Sure,
the
sir.
things are very critical
Sure.
on the previous slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cyber crime, this is something which everybody cares about right now, that, your ransomware and malware, spyware, APT, and all those data exfiltration, breaches, and all that. So that's something is like, and you want to do into the proactive nature. You don't want to kind of detect when the ransomware attack has already kind of like exfiltrated the data and they are going to encrypt. I'll just give you example. We have customer who are some are extremely large through our partner and some are very small. So there's like in the US, it's a mid-sized bank into the uh, middle of the country, Midwest. And this particular bank, our partner informed them at 6 p.m. that, hey, you have a ransomware attack going on. And their IT director, he said, okay, let me come back to you. Give me some time. So he goes in and he has two other services being delivered by one MDR vendor doing the EDR offering. Actually, it was CrowdStrike. I'll be open to say that. And then there was another one. They were using SecureWorks as well. That IT director goes and call them and say, hey, do you guys see any ransomware attack happening in our organization? And they said, no, we don't see anything based on what we are kind of watching. We don't see anything. So he kind of like, he didn't do anything. And these guys, like Roger and his team, called them again at 7 p.m. and said that, hey, look, now those guys have gone into 7 different servers and they are collecting the telemetry. Data is being collected in your organization. We want to take action. You have a ransomware attack going on. So the IT director, he got a little scared. So he said, okay, let me take you to my bank president. Just hold on. So he walks to the bank president, explain him that, hey, this new company which we had hired 3 months back is telling that we have some ransomware attack going on. I checked with the CrowdStrike and SecureWorks. Those services we are using, they are saying they don't see anything. So the president says is like, okay, let's put him on the speaker and see what he has to say. So Raja explains them that, hey, look, we have seen that you have a ransomware attack progress because credential compromised, new credential created. Now we see that they have put into command and control communication in your place, and these are the 7 servers where data is being collected. What do you want to do? Because our suggestion is let's kind of cut off the link in there and take these servers offline immediately. So president said, that's a pretty dangerous. So what we should do? I cannot take these servers out because we have a payroll processing going on in there and we have money coming in, money going out. What else you can suggest? So he said, look, miss, that is like, we don't know your business in and out, which servers are doing what, but any servers which you think not part of the payroll processing, let's take those one offline. So they agreed. They took 6 servers offline. And then they said, we are going to apply a policy because I see that your data being exfiltrated to MOBA cloud, and you have no business with the MOBA cloud based on 3 months we have been watching your whole environment. So president said, okay, go ahead and do that. And if something is wrong, be there to take it out because he doesn't know technology that much in there. So he said, I want you guys to take it out if the processing is stopped. So they did that. They applied the policy. And then they watched for another hour till 8 p.m. and payroll processing kept on going. So they said, okay. So they said, look, we have already your kind of know exactly what has happened in your environment. I wish you had listened to us in the beginning, but that 1 hour was a tough one. But we are going to be watching all night going forward. If there is some new location they try to get in, because they can always have embedded multiple locations to escape, the data, exfiltrate the data and all that. So they kept on watching all night in there. And the next morning, they already had their incident package ready that this is what has happened your own place. Bank goes into they open at 8 a.m. They go into, and then there is a ransomware kind of was that one server they had kept on. There was a demand that, hey, void crypt, we have taken your data. You have to pay me to get in all that in there. So now president was like, man, what we could have done and all that. And then they had big fight with all these vendors, it's like they claimed to know everything. So you know what happened? They said, you should have bought our identity services because we don't see everything what those guys see it. And that's why they were telling you. And so these things are pretty real. That platform approach of watching everything with the common context is what will make you proactive, because some cases you might be able to take actions in the silos feature, or you can say best of the breed and all that. But if you don't have enough of the people and enough expertise, you will not be able to take action. These guys were able to take action because they had already seen compromised credential. They can see that, hey, where the communications are happening, where are the lateral movements are happening, what are the things have been happening which are not relevant, what used to happen in the past, and all the data collections. They can see it and say, hey, this thing didn't happen. This is machine learning saying this is something new, as well as a lot of data is being collected. And that is all the context and situational awareness being added by the platform to give you that advantage, So that's something I just wanted to share with the people that, having those kind of capability makes all the difference for it. There is many other huge cases, as you can see, that whether it's a cloud security, your credential, there was insider was one of the threat vector people have identified as a critical one that get covered, your cloud security, your denial of service, your strict policy enforcement, who can do what and all that in there. Siddharth, you want to go to the next slide? I know that we are running over our slot. Your vulnerability exploit. This is known or unknown vulnerability exploit. It then have to be known also, because once you have the behavioral machine learning capability, even you can see any unknown exploit, you are able to detect those. So, and those exploits are always coming in there. So it's not only that Log4j was the one which JNDI made it very popular, but there is a lot of vulnerability get like exploited each and every day. You want to detect it and then just take actions to kind of make sure that nobody can exploit it. Brute force attack, these are very common in there, especially now exposed into the cloud. You pretty much see the brute force going on all the time. Your web and email exploits, your DNS protections, then compliance, you want to do continuous compliance, and then, IT, OT, and those, medical kind of like devices, you want to kind of keep an eye on those ones as well. Siddharth, you want to go into the next one? In there, definitely one thing I want to point out, not much in over here. You can do all the threat hunting, but some cases you have regulatory requirement to monitor your file integrity monitoring, who's accessing which file. You have to do your data loss prevention, where you are looking into your data classifications, and as well as having the capability to either automatically or kind of like, by push button or playbook, kill a process, quarantine a workstation, quarantine a file, and reset network connectivity and all that. So you should have a capability to also stop it, not just detect, but to stop it as well. And not just that, those based on the root signature policy, but also based on the policy of your organization. Hey, what you want to take actions and when you want to take it. So that's something I wanted to point out. Siddharth, you want to go to the next one? Yeah, one thing I do want to point out, because this is like a case study on the real customer, that the customer is pretty like, they consider themselves as a high-end kind of like customer with a lot of money in the financial sector, spending money. So they have got like, same solution, EDR solution, as well as NDR, and saying, okay, hey, all of these things we are kind of doing XDR. See, EDR plus anything else is called XDR. But in this case, the best you want to have, you are looking into these triad, it is called. In this one, they're spending a couple of $1 million, and a lot of people are also kind of managing that in there. You don't have more than 60% of the threat coverage, surface coverage point of view as well in there. Because you see, why that CrowdStrike in that case did not see that threat, ransomware attack, which was going through, because they did not had the capability to look into what is going on with the identity there. So they heard about those identity was compromised, new identity was created. They said, oh, you should have bought my identity service to help you as well in there. That's right. And there was a big fight that, it's all that in there. But anyway, point is you don't have that coverage. You see, if you want to have a better coverage, that's where basically it's not only that, hey, what are the tools you are bringing it all together in the platform, but you are bringing it with the MLAI dynamic threat model to surface the threat which matters, and then also take a action so you stay ahead of the threat. Sometimes staying ahead of the threat is also, sometimes our partners say that, hey, we keep on kind of like, protecting the people, and how they are going to appreciate it and all that. Because in these guys, when the attack happened, they say that they have detected attack and all that. So you always have to educate the customer that, hey, look, you have protected them with many of those potential ransomware attack. And now we even give you which are the attack vector have tried to breach into your organization, and you have stopped it. So that prediction of any of the threat actor as well as the APTs is also now being put in the platform. So that way you are able to show exactly what you have done for the customer as well. Those are pretty important things. Go ahead, Siddharth. Yeah, one of the other things is like, people will talk about, cyber risk management as well as your watching your internal and external security posture. It is critical that, once again, you have to have a platform to watch your internal as well as external, everything into the common context. It's not just your dark web monitoring and all that in there, your CVE vulnerability from outside, but inside, as well as your application misconfiguration, DNS masquerading, phishing, and all that. These are pretty common, like every day, I'm pretty sure each one of us on the call, we get like, multiple emails. Somebody is sending a invoice payment, somebody is want to authenticate something, somebody wants us to click something, open the file they have sent or link they have sent to get something from them, and sending email on our behalf to all of our employees, and all that goes on there. So you have to be extremely careful about those ones, watching those ones in the real time, malicious setup, the asset misconfigurations and all that. And then your internal, everything has to be together to show that, hey, this is where I should focus my energy to go and mitigate my risk. If I have not like all the resources, I have limited resources, I know where I have to focus my energy and all that in there. So that's something we just wanted to cover over here. Go ahead, Siddharth, the next one. See, platform approach has a lot of advantage. Once again, you don't have to think about just Sekian platform in there. Any platform you have, always ask that, do you have a common context situational awareness? Do you have like, all the telemetry being brought in, raw telemetry is being brought together, and then all the context and situational awareness is happening across that? Or you have a cosmetic integration, cosmetic view of platform? That's something question you should ask. And it's like, what is the advantage of the platform? You eliminate need for any silos product. You don't have to go and buy 20 different silos in there. One of the things is like, as we pointed out, if you got some, you have to start journey from somewhere. So you always want to complement, and then you kind of like make sure that other products, if they're not adding any value into your overall systems, you want to get rid of them as down the line. Your capex and opsex saving is the key part, because platform is supposed to give you. If it's not giving you, then it's not like really promising one thing, but it's not delivering on it. Definitely other thing, reduce your mean time, because see, at the end, mean time to identify and mean time to respond. This is where you want to focus. And this thing should be close to the real time. So that way you are not letting any of those threat actors linger in your organization for a long period of time. If they are able to linger a long period of time, it's not good for you, because they will exfiltrate the data. They will have a ransomware demand on you. Definitely, you want to have a platform which helps you meet all your compliance requirement, and then you should have a complete visibility. If you don't have a complete visibility and analytics capability of your environment, you are not getting what you are looking for. So that's something you should always keep in mind. Siddharth, you want to go to the next one?
Yeah. So that actually brings us to the end of the presentation. So I don't think we might have the time for a demo, but
Yeah.
nevertheless, I think a bunch of them have shown interest in the initial polls, and we will, probably do the demo on a one-to-one basis if that's okay with you, sir.
Yeah.
All
That
right.
makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think on that note, I'd like to thank Mr. Chandrasekhar Pandey for a highly insightful presentation. Thank you so much, sir. I'm sure the audience has definitely taken a lot of points from this. Now, on that thought, I'm sure some of them will have a few more queries for you, sir. So, is it okay if we can do another 5 minutes just for the queries?
Yeah.
I'd like to see.
Yes. Yeah,
Sure.
definitely.
Okay, so the audience can drop in their queries on chat or Q&A, and we can take them up one by one. I don't see as of now some queries. Actually, there was one from our YouTube channel on CrowdStrike. I think you had already
Yeah.
spoken about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and ask the question as well, because I'm just putting the screen in there, but anybody can ask
Okay.
questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just one
If you
moment.
already have a question, go ahead and ask those questions as well.
Okay. Just one moment. I think one of them had shared the screen. Let me just go back to our presentation.
Go back.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just read out that question for you, sir.
Mhm.
Okay. One from Mr. Prashant. How are you looking at the CS incident last week as CrowdStrike? Other cloud services will be impacted as people will think before they take cloud services. Your comments on this, sir? I think you already mentioned quite some about this, but
Yeah. So
yeah.
see, one of the things is now they came out and they started talking about that. Any of the organization, most of the time, you always segment your infrastructure and you don't just let the auto update goes out to all the, because that, if you look into the whole disruption was about AV. That has nothing to do with the ADR. It was just the antivirus file. Uh, you can call definition update or whatever you want to call it. That's what was pushed out in there. And there is something more than that, because it's not just the file pushed out caused all that, but also there's some mistake has happened, because you see, anybody who uses the tool, they have a console and they have a control that, when they update and all that, because you do not want to have your critical kind of infrastructure get automatically updated. So the always that IT professional or security professional, they are segmented and all that. In this case, definitely something has skipped, not only the definition, but then also something has happened at the console level as well. Because in the console, most of the IT professional who are managing critical infrastructure, they didn't give you like, free ride that, hey, go in and update everything whenever you wish. You see that? So something is not being told right now completely, but that's what it is. Now, from the organization point of view, so one thing is what happened, another thing, organization point of view, you definitely want to have a solution which you have the control over when those definitions or any updates are getting deployed. Because even if you look, Microsoft updates, now most of the organization, they will just download somewhere locally, and then based on that, they will say, okay, hey, you can go and get the patch update and all that in there, because it's not just kind of have it like go randomly and give all the people's update at the same time. So it's really important to kind of like, you segment your infrastructure, have a control of what update get applied. Don't get somebody kind of give a free ride. Another thing is demand that what really they are doing to make sure that they are not going to go and hold your infrastructure, create a problem on your like the devices where that software is going to be doing, and what kind of like, it's like a process they have followed to do that. And the best practice will be always that, hey, you do not just roll out in the middle of night and all that. SaaS had that advantage that you can roll it out every 5 minutes. You can have a software release going on in there. But if you look into it, it's not like, kind of like infrastructure where you are just doing some social media and all that. This is infrastructure where your organization productivity depends on, your organization reputation depends on. So you want to make sure you understand it, what this thing is, and then you have to roll out. You will have to roll out, you'll have to do the update, but do the update with your own control, not somebody else kind of taking a control by themselves and pushing something out there. But even for that, demand that, hey, what kind of the quality control has gone, and have it had been staged. So it stays by the vendor itself before it kind of get staged by user. That is very important. In that case, there is a lot more has happened, guys, than just like what is being told right now. because you can read it in between the line. There was something which should have not happened at all. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Mr. Prashant. Ms. Shama, I think our team will reach out to you on this. So as mentioned, and I think Ganesh has asked a question again on CloudStrike. Why did the CloudStrike fail in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that things escape there, which the process should not be there to escape it. And also, there's something bigger than what is being kind of told. So, because most of those organizations which kind of run into that big issue, whether it's like airport, hospitals, and all that, they do not just let it kind of like go and ride it automatically update everything. So there was something else has happened that auto update. Think about that. You might have a CT scanner. You might have very critical infrastructure. You might have a surgery tool, and that might be running on that. And do you think that the hospital allowed them to just do auto update? Something else has gone on there, guys. It's not that because auto update just went ahead and just updated all those things in there, because people do segment and they have a control over their infrastructure. They don't let it auto upgrade goes on. So what happened to their segment or console? Why it went into everywhere without their control? So those questions has to be asked seriously out there. And one thing I do want to point out, guys, this is not pointing out some blame on it, but think about this. Microsoft was acting very cute that, look, we are open system. What do you think? Linux is not an open system? Linux is also open system. Linux is much more open system than any open system you can talk in the world, because that is the genesis of all the open system, So that's what it is. So, but anyway, there is people are acting up, there's truth will probably may come out in a few weeks, or it might take few years to come out, and there will be books written on this, so that's what it is. But we don't know all the truth, guys, right now.
Absolutely, sir. Okay, so I was just dropped a text on the chat asking if there's anyone who'd like to interact with you on it, directly. I can actually unmute them. I think Mr. Ganesh had raised his hand. Mr. Ganesh, do you have something that you'd like to interact with Mr. Chandra? Okay, let me just allow you to talk. I think you should be able to unmute now. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir. Hello, Chandra, sir.
Yeah, hi, Ganesh. Please go ahead, sir.
Sir, cybersecurity is any advantage or disadvantage? One more time explain, sir, because advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah. Siddharth, do you want
Yeah.
go ahead.
Ganesh, I think we will, probably give you a summary of this because this was already answered. So I think we will summarize this and hand it over to you anyway. Yeah. If there's any other questions, let me know.
No, sir. Only that.
Okay. Okay. We will summarize that for you and hand it over to you. No worries.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Ganesh. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else, audience, any questions, anything that you'd like to put out for our speaker? I think we're closing in about a minute or two. So just thought I would drop that, and if there's anyone else who'd like to directly interact, I'll be able to let you to do that. Let me know.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. And definitely, any questions you have, always reach out.
Absolutely.
And look, one thing as Siddharth pointed out, and Amit is over here, Savya is over here. Definitely. See, our goal is not to just kind of tell you that to buy some product or solutions and all that. Our goal is to make sure that, we are part of the industry, we are part of the community. And as much we can do to the community, we are always there to help out. So just keep that in mind, that even if you have any questions, which we can help it out, we will always be there to help you out, So that's something you should always remember, that you don't have to kind of buy something or pay for something and all that. We are always there to help out as a community member, Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. On that note, I think we can close for the day. Once again, thank you so much for your time and efforts, Mr. Chandra. We look forward to having more webinars with you. And audience, as mentioned, I think our team will start reaching out to you in the next 1 or 2 working days. And those of you who've shown interest for one-to-one demo and call, we will reach out to you on priority. On that note, thank you all for your time and have a wonderful day. Thank you, Mr. Chandra. Thank you again.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot.